Holly Cotton here, and I am so excited. Today, we are joined with Brandon Wattz, who is an artist. And if you guys do not know, hold on, I've been waiting to play this.
Oh man. Wow. Hey, 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 hey,
Let me
hey.
tell you, when I listen to Too Thick, you can't tell me nothing because, baby, I think I'm too thick, Brandon. You got me out here like, okay, I'm too thick for my own good. I love it. I love it. So, you guys, welcome Brandon Watts.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be on your show. I've been watching you for a while, and you give phenomenal interviews. So thank you for having me. How's everybody doing out there?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so don't worry, we gonna get all in his business. You know, I love. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No. So one thing I tell everyone and anyone that knows me, I love, love, love to see people living their passion. I love when people are doing things and you could see it. You
Right.
could see that they love what they're doing. So I love highlighting people and bringing that to everyone's attention because life is too short to be doing something that you hate. So I'm super excited to have you and hear about your story, Brandon.
Well, thank you for having me, and I'm excited to hear your story too.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you guys a very unique fact about Brandon. He was actually born in Germany. And one, if you if you know me, like my kids, they always joke with me because I pretend that I'm British. Even my Siri is British. So I love anyone that's like European or something. I just feel like it's so exotic. So, Brandon, I know that you were born in Germany, but that wasn't like where you grew up or whatever. But can you tell us about the differences in European music with the American genre of R&B, or if there's any differences at all?
Well, first off, let me start by saying my dad was in the military, so I was a military kid. Shout out to all the military kids out there. So I spent a little time over there as a toddler, and we came back when I was maybe 2 years old, two and a half, something like that. And to make a long story short, the European market in general, I find because I've had the opportunity to go back over there since I've been an adult. They R&B artists over there, they do the traditional style of R&B just the same way as we would do it over here. But there's a much more heightened, what I would say, a much more heightened appreciation for R&B over there. So I like to say, we've gotten a little spoiled over here. You know what I mean? So it's not even a big deal to us anymore. But you go to the shows over there, Holly, and I'm telling you, it is jam packed 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours before the show. Like these people do not play around. They are really genuinely serious about their love for the art form, and they show it. And that's not just even R&B. I know that's kind of like where we're kind of staying today, but I mean, it goes for any genre really. I mean, they just are music fanatics over there, and so I love it. I mean, any chance I can get to go back over there, I always try. So
And I was going to ask you also, I was going to piggyback on that. I was going to ask you like what do you feel like your imprint is on, if any, on the European music? But if you said that you're going back, but what do you hope, like you said you visited and things like that, like what do you hope whenever someone in any other country hears Brandon Watts, what is the one thing you want to be as like your imprint about you?
that I sang real songs. That I sang lyrics that were identifiable, that were relatable to everyday life. I think that's really the goal of any singer in general, especially an R&B or soul singer, because a lot of what we do lyrically, melodically, is based on feeling and telling a storyline that people can relate to. So I would say that's my ultimate goal, to resonate with people in a way where, years on down the road, they still want to hear those songs that I did. So
Okay, and you guys, please pull up all of his music on whatever whatever platform because Brandon has had me jamming. I'm telling you, like I added and we just started following Instagram just randomly on Instagram, and I think it was right when you were about to release Too Thick or whatever. So when you
Yeah.
released it, I was like, let me go see what this song is about or whatever, and I added it to my playlist, and then I was like, oh my gosh, like this is really him singing. So make sure you guys go and download all of his songs because they really are very catchy. I'm telling you, my little pimp playlist is like on.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
One
kidding.
time
I'm kidding.
for the count playlist, I hear you.
Okay, so going into that, like I said, I listened to some of your songs, and what I want to know, because I know us coming from this side that aren't really in that music industry, you always hear about like ghostwriters or people writing lyrics or something like that. So my question to you is going to be, but before you answer, do you write your own lyrics? And I want to just let you guys in on this secret. If you have not listened to Too Thick, let me quote something.
Uh-oh.
It goes something like this. Um, you wanted me to taste, sit that thing down on my face. So now back to, do you write your own lyrics?
I do write my own lyrics. I've recorded songs with other songwriters or producers, though, and, where they've written the song. So I'm not opposed to. I'm open to whatever. Sometimes I write if the song is already kind of put together and already done. Somebody else wrote it. I'll still sing it, so it doesn't even matter.
So as you're sitting around thinking about stuff, like how do you come up with that? Like I guess, and I always loved English, and I wrote poetry in high school
Right.
or college or whatever. So I know things have to kind of rhyme to flow, but how do you come up with something? Because you got some sexual stuff in some of your. I'm not putting you on blast. I'm just saying. I'm kind of like how you
It's all
say
good.
you think to make you wanted me to taste, come sit that thing on my face. How did you say that sounds like a good lyric? Like, what is your thought process when you're coming up with writing?
Sometimes that's a great question, by the way. Sometimes it's you know about metaphors. A lot. Another time it could be about what I find today is listening to just overhearing conversations, listening to what people say, listening to somebody sitting to the table next next to me, and they're talking to one of their girlfriends about what happened last night. What her and her man did. So it's just a lot of it is being creative on your own and coming up with different ideas, and then the other part of that is just kind of you just happen to be somewhere and you overhear people talking.
Okay, so you guys, if y'all are eating dinner with Brandon and you see him doing like this with a pen and a paper, watch what you say, cause he gonna
Right,
put y'all
right.
business in a song, right? Do not talk about no
I didn't call no names, though. You noticed that, right?
look. Do not be talking about no 50 Shades of Grey stuff with Brandon at dinner, cause you're gonna be in his next song, and you're gonna be like, wait a minute.
Funny.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay, so whenever I looked up just general Google, I like to Google everyone that I talk to just so I can kind of see not only what you are going to tell me your definition or how you interpret yourself, but then just how your social media presence is, how you come across on any type of search engine. So when I looked you up, a lot of the media outlets reference you as comparing you to classic artists, and I know that I think I even read an article where you were saying like some of the influences of your music style has always been like that, sort of those traditional old school soulful singers. So how did you decide that that was going to be the genre that you choose, and what are you doing to make sure that your music stands out?
That's you asking some awesome questions, by the way. um, I a lot of it. Well, I'll just start here. I grew up singing. First of all, I grew up in the South, so you'll find that a lot of artists that originate geographically from a certain region, they're gonna have a certain similar story to tell. I grew up in the South, specifically Alabama, And if you know anything about,
Oh my God. If you say roll tide, okay, I'm not going to interrupt your thought process. Go ahead. Okay, back to the question. Mm-hmm.
listen, I'm not gonna say War Eagle, but this is what I'm getting at. I grew up in Alabama, so if you know anything about the South, specifically what they call the Bible Belt, I don't know if they even use that term anymore. But if you know anything about this region, you know it is rich in history as it pertains to gospel music, soul music, and R&B music. So I grew up singing in the church. My dad was a musician and an artist and a singer, and he really got me and my brother started singing together as kids on the front porch in the morning right before Sunday school. So right before we go to church, he would teach us new songs, or teach us new ways of getting in front of people and showing us the performance etiquette that we needed to have before we would sing. So it kind of so to answer your question, I know I'm going all the way around the world, but a lot of it is sometimes you don't pick the genre picks you. You know what I mean? So it was a little bit of both. I kind of picked the genre and kind of went with what was familiar with me at the time, based off of what all my influences were, be it my dad, be it listening to music, my mom, whoever, whatever the case may be. And then a lot of it kind of just chooses you. So.
And so, what is the imprint that you want to leave on anyone that is associated with or comes into contact with you, listens to one of your songs? What is like the biggest imprint that you want people to be like, "Ooh, Brandon Wattz"?
I would say that he's really about it. Like, he's really sincere and really genuine, and even more so from a live performance standpoint, that I got my money's worth tonight. I mean, that's the greatest compliment I think any artist would tell you. Is the record sales are one thing, and that's a whole different conversation for another time as relates to to today's market. But to come out and experience that particular artist or myself in person, you want the audience member, the customer, to feel satisfied and feel like that you're even better than what they heard on the record. So I mean, the tying of both of those together, I think ultimately helps to frame your artwork, as an artist. So that's very important. He leave it on stage, in other words. He left
Right,
it on
right. No, I love that answer, and that's very good, and I love that perspective too, because everyone, whatever your passion is, you want people to be able to exude and absorb that from that person. Like, I want to exude what I am passionate about, and I want you to absorb it. So it's like this energy exchanged, and when you do that, and that's something that you actually achieve, like you said. So when you hitting those notes and everybody's like, oh yeah, like that's us absorbing that energy that you are giving us and stuff. So I
right.
definitely love that you gave that analogy of it. I mean, that explanation of it. Okay, so now that we're talking about singing and stuff, I wanted to ask you, at what point in life did you realize that you could sang? Because I sing in the
Mm-hmm.
shower, but ain't
Uh-huh.
nobody gonna pay to hear me sing. I think I sound like you, but I know I sound nothing like you. So, at what point were you like, wow, I can really hit these notes and I can sing? Y'all better put some respect on my name. So, what was that?
That's a really good question. You asking some awesome questions.
That Brandon, that's why I got a show. That's why I got a show.
You got a show. No, listen. I think I would say probably I would have to go back to early childhood. I would have to say you always have that moment when you're first starting out. I think I'm still just starting out, because it's always a journey, and if you still continue to work hard, you never really reach the destination. But singing in church, probably the first time, my dad taught me a song by Sam Cooke called "Wonderful," And that was the first time where I was separated from the choir, separated from my brother. It was just me and nobody to lean on. You know, there was no band, no, you know, not, it wasn't a lot of instrumentation, just piano and me. And, you know, I sang the song, and it was toward the end of church service, and the people received me for the first time. And I remember a lady catching the Holy Ghost, you know, and if you're familiar with what that spiritual exchange is and what it's like, you know, that's a moving experience. And that resonated and stuck with me even, you know, to today. And that was probably the first time when I realized, you know, and then my dad gave me some critique and some props also. And that meant a lot. So that was probably the first moment in my memory where I said, maybe I can do this, you know? So.
Well, let me just sidebar on that right there, because I grew up in the South too, Louisiana, born and raised.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Playground was where I spent most of my no. so, um,
Yeah.
so I grew up Southern Baptist as well, and I just want to say that y'all that got pulled out of the choir at the revival and got a special, y'all are so great. We hated you. No, I never got pulled off.
Listen.
I was the one where they were like, Holly, a little lower, a little lower. And I'm
Okay.
like, but I'm
Okay.
hitting the notes. They're like,
But check this out. A lot of times, like people don't even know, and I'm sure they can agree with what I'm saying, with what I'm going to say. We didn't really intend for that to happen. A lot of times, didn't want it to happen, because my mom, if she sees this, she can chime in and tell you. A lot of times, I didn't even want to sing. It was kind of like a thing where, you're going through that stage in life where you're a kid and you want to do this and you want to do that, and I want to sit out in the congregation with my friends. You know what I'm saying?
right.
No, boy, get up here and get
Yeah,
in this
because we
choir
got
sing.
to go home after. Y'all had to keep practicing.
Oh my God, and especially, depending on what particular church format you had, you know, you could go to church sometimes 2, 3, maybe 4 times in a day. You got Sunday school, you got early morning service, you got evening program, and then you got a late night revival or whatever it might be. So it got to be exhausting, huh?
And don't let nobody catch the Holy Ghost, and don't let nobody have a testimony, because
Oh
you go.
yeah. It's going to extend the service. It's going to extend the service. By the time you get home, you're not
My
going to want
kids
to do
have
it.
no idea. Their church is an hour, in and out, in and out. I'm like, you guys have no idea. Like, I used to be so hungry, and my mom, she would be taking notes in her Bible and stuff, and I'm like,
Right.
God, I'm never gonna eat. Um, so I love that. I love that. And I also want to just say that I think also with you saying that you identified being being a singer in your youth, that I think that is very what one of the things about you that's unique is the high notes that you can hit. And I think that that's one of the things about you that I really like, and I definitely give you kudos for and mad respect for, because you, as you go through puberty and your voice changes and you have the deeper voice, but you're still able to hit those high notes. So that's definitely something unique in your imprint, that I think is that you can, and not and Brandon, let me hit the note, quit being a
I
hater.
heard. Listen, I just heard you, and I'm like, you low key got some pipes over there. You holding out,
I
You
do,
holding
but they
out.
not the right pipes. They the pipes you want to be quiet. But no, so I think that that's something. So how do you do that? Like, how? I mean, I know it's a whole part of who you are. Don't give us your secrets, but I'm like, how do you maintain being able to hit those high notes?
You know what? I never really even thought about it like that. I think it's kind of a thing where um you kind of you kind of formulate, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, a particular way you go about doing something without even realizing it. And sometimes it's on accident, sometimes it's on purpose, but I pretty much always somewhat had a I think they would call it head tone or falsetto approach vocally. So even as I got older, And it's your chest range really changes a lot, and your overall range can change. But I can honestly say I always kind of already had that at a younger age, and it just kind of I for the most part sang in that register. So even as I grew, it really the range didn't really change too much. So
Well, that's your
it was just
gift. That's good. I'm glad that you have. Yeah, when I start hitting the notes, the cats start meowing with me. So, but I
yeah.
don't stop. I don't. You do not want to be in the car with me, and a good song comes on. So okay, so I'm not going to get into your business, Brandon, where I'm exposing your personal life, but I do have a personal question for you. And like I said, as a fellow pimpster, I know no people are really going to think I'm a pimp. So I know that in the dating world, if you're writing love songs, if you're writing songs about being in love and how to treat a woman and how to do this stuff and telling her to come sit on your face and all this other stuff. So so, how is that when you're actually with someone or dating someone or in a relationship? Is there an expectation that you're supposed to be this big romantic person on you?
I would say somewhat. I think what people most times already have somewhat of a preconceived notion to a degree. And that goes for all of us, you know what I mean, no matter what it is that we do. So I think if somebody has expressed some interest or you've expressed interest and they reciprocate that, then that means that you probably already displayed that in the beginning. So I would say, yeah. And it's just a natural thing for me because I just like seeing people happy anyway, no matter who you are. So it's, and then being from the South don't help because it's yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. And you open all the ladies' doors and pull out the chairs. So it's just certain things it's just ingrained in you that you just would do without even realizing it. You know what I mean? So the way I answer that question, I would say, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I am huge about being a gentleman. And my friends know me so well. Like whenever I talk about something, and I'll say something, and I'll say, and and they were like, "Oh my God, we know you love a gentleman." Like, and I'm just like, right,
Right.
because you gonna treat me right. Like you guys
Right.
need to find your. I need y'all to
Right.
love a gentleman and know what
Right.
the expectations are. Like you treat me like a lady. I'm independent. I'm gonna do my own thing, but I also want to be treated like a delicate little flower and babied and princess as well. So I love that. I love that. So y'all, he can sing, he's a gentleman, treat you like a lady, wants you to bounce it like a tennis ball. He is on it. Okay, so hey,
You really memorized the lyrics. I just want to give you a standing O right now. I just want to give you a standing ovation.
you wrote the song.
You realize you really listen to it like that though. That's what's up. That's cool.
right.
That's
Like
cool.
I'm not gonna be on the show with Michelle Obama, and I never read her book. Like I need to know what's
Yeah.
going on. Uh, so, um, and I know also, like you said, with having a very people don't realize that being an artist is also a very demanding career because you're constantly working. Like you said, your mind is constantly trying to come up with new lyrics. You're playing melodies in your head, or you're trying to figure out how something in words can equate to a catchy tune or something. So you're constantly working. So how do you balance, where are you able to shut off Brandon Wattz the artist with Brandon Wattz the significant other, boyfriend, boo thing, whatever? How do you balance being career driven and an artist with also being in a relationship?
That is a good question. I am, well, first, let me say currently I'm not in a relationship. So I don't know if I'm qualified to really answer that at this moment in time. But what I will say is that definitely in the heat of the moment, as I would say, um, doing a show a particular night and then trying to shut down at the end of the night. I think any artist that you would ask would tell you that that's always sometimes a battle due to adrenaline rush or whatever the case may be. So that's usually just trying to come down to go to sleep. Sometimes is probably the biggest battle. But as far as it pertains to a significant other, I think that's something I would actually look forward to because it's an escape to get away from what the norm is, to actually, woosah and come down and focus your energy and your attention on something else more important.
So, do you think that you would? This is kind of just off of that, but do you think that you would, or is something in the back of your head maybe where you would want to sing at your wedding?
That's another good question. I think whether I wanted to or not, I think that would kind of like be somewhat mandatory. Sing without saying.
But we're not singing too thick. I'm gonna need you to sing me a love song, like
you know what? It's funny you said that.
Go
It's
ahead.
funny you said that. The next single actually, Too Thick was actually an offering for the club scene and for just something loose, just kind of for the dance audience more so. But the next song is actually a song called Lifetime. And it's I'm praying to God, hoping that it will be my signature love wedding song. So that's in the works. I'm just throwing it out there. So you heard it first here, ladies and gentlemen, on the Holly Cotton Show. Lifetime is the next single. So we've got a few more love ballads that's on the way, coming behind Too Thick. That would be, I think, appreciated, especially in this day.
So if Brandon don't sing at if Brandon doesn't sing at his wedding, if it doesn't happen before, he's saying that it's okay. You guys can sing Lifetime at your wedding to your spouse. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
I don't know. See, I'm such a like non-attentiony person, I guess. Like, people think that you love the spotlight and you do stuff, and it's just like I'm always somewhere with someone. So for me, I like that would be kind of a low-key thing. So I would probably want it to be more of where, like, he was singing in my ear, maybe like we were on our first dance or something. I don't know. I would be like that I'm sitting in the chair and you're singing to me. It's, I don't know if I would be okay. Like, would that make me uncomfortable? I don't know. But when you're in love with someone, you do a bunch of dumb stuff that you thought you would never do. So
it ain't nothing you won't do. You know what
right. I mean? So I would probably be like a goober.
Exactly.
Okay. So last question. And again, I think that whenever we do find our passion and we do find our purpose, that it's also important to extend a little bit of help for anyone that's following behind us, anyone that's coming up, anyone that may be trying to redefine what they want to do in life. So as an artist, as the things that you have learned, as things that you have learned the hard way, something you got screwed over, whatever, it's a lot of stuff that goes with this lifestyle. So do you have any advice for anyone that is maybe thinks that they have a passion for singing, or they want to take that, like you said, from the church to doing it professional? Do you have any advice or feedback for anyone that's trying to enter into the same field as you?
That is awesome and very well articulated question. I would say first and foremost, you need to take God with you everywhere. Let's just start there. You know what I'm saying? Spiritually, you got to be centered and you got to be grounded in such a way where you don't allow too many things to phase you, because there will be a lot of things that will try to throw you off course if you're not careful. That's number one. Number two, I would say get you a good CPA. From a taxation standpoint, you want to make sure your business affairs, and if your company, LLC or S Corp, C Corp, whatever the case may be, your business affairs financially are set up correctly, so that when things and opportunities start to come in, you can really take advantage of those said opportunities, because you'll be in position and structured correctly. That's number two. Number three, I would say, they call it show business for a reason. And the first thing that I was told, I would give the same advice that was given to me, is 90% business and 10% show. The show part is fairly easy. Everybody can pretty much figure out the show part. The business aspect, that's when things can get to be a little bit, dicey from time to time. And if you don't have the right infrastructure set up around you, it can get a little scary, So you definitely want to have a good team around you. If you're going to have a team, you want to make sure your finances are able to be sheltered and well documented, and and you want to have you want to work with great people and carry yourself in a way where people will want to work with you. So at the end of the day, it's a collaborative effort. You know what I mean? Music is something that is enjoyed by not only the people who purchase the music and get a chance to come see you perform and hear the music, but it's enjoyed by you and your fellow musicians who help you, to come together and to produce the art. So it's really a 360-degree exchange all the way around. So I would say those three main things, and you'll be fine. There'll be ups and downs like with anything in life, but if you've got those things pretty much centered and squared away, you navigate and you go through those bumpy rides a little bit more smoother.
Okay, that's great advice, Brandon. I was taking notes too, because I think some of those are applicable to whatever anything that you want to do.
Anything, exactly. Yeah.
But I do love that advice. That's 90% business. Okay. I love that. Okay. Mental note. All right. So for anyone that is listening or watching, drop all of your social media handles, any websites, and how people can support you, where they can get your music, shows, anything, projects coming up. This is your spiel. Knock it out.
Well, once again, thank you for having me. You all go and support Holly Cotton. I want to start with her first. Make sure you follow her on Instagram and Facebook. And you can follow me on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram under the same logo, under the same name, Brandon Wattz, BRANDON WATTC. That's BRANDON WATTC. That's on all platforms. My name is consistent across all of those platforms. And you can find me, subscribe to YouTube, new music videos, new music coming soon, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram because any new content that's coming, you'll hear about it first on those two platforms, Facebook and Instagram. And I'm working on a new EP that should be dropping very soon. And everybody that's been streaming Too Thick, thank you so much. I love you. All the ladies, Too Thick Challenge is live right now. Post the baddest video of you dancing to the song, and we got a grand prize for you. So yeah, I want to shout out some people too, because I can't even be in this opportunity for you to even interview me without acknowledging one, God, and thanking him for giving me an opportunity to display my talent that he gave me, my gift that he gave me. And I want to thank my mom, Dorothy Walker. She'll see this at some point and call me. My dad, my brother, and my sister, all of them in Alabama, and my entire family, Walker and Watts family. And I want to thank everybody on Facebook and Instagram that decided to follow me. A lot of you guys saw my Reasons video that dropped a few years ago. It was a cover I did of a legendary Earth, Wind & Fire song, and it went super viral. And a lot of you guys shared it and subscribed and followed me. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for that. And I want to shout out to Mr. Lenny Williams. Girl, I love you. We just recently did a song together called Weekday Blues, and that's been doing pretty well. And he's got a new single out. Follow him on Facebook and Instagram. We're going to be working together again soon. And I want to shout out to my mentor, the legendary Mr. Preston Glass of Whitney Houston fame, Aretha Franklin, Tom Bell. He discovered me when I first came to LA, and I love him and his wife, Gina Glass, too. I just want to shout them out because they just mean a lot to me. And I couldn't be in the position I'm in now, being interviewed by you without them. And that's just the truth. And so many other people. I don't want to miss any names, but most importantly, you guys follow Holly Cotton. She's got so many A-list artists and stars that she's already interviewed. I'm thankful and blessed to be, in the number. So thank you for having me.
Of course. And hold on one more time.
Bounce.
I'm bouncing like a tennis ball, Brandon. Oh my god. Okay, I need you to put the lyrics on Apple Music so I can see what it says. Because I'm like, did he say what I think he said? Hold up. Let me write a question about that. No.
Listen, I was gonna put a disclaimer before the track, but I said, well, they're not really doing that anymore, so I just gotta let it go. I just gotta let it go as is. But it's targeted. It's not for kids.
Listen. When I get me a little boo, I'm gonna make sure on that part I turn the volume way up so there's no misunderstanding here with why we.
Oh my god. I'm looking at you. I can see it now with you reaching over to grab the volume control to crank it all the way up.
Right. At 51 seconds, I got to turn it way up. Whatever the amount is, whatever the time is. Oh my God. I love that. Well, Brandon, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Thank you for using your passion to motivate us. I love, like I said, I love, and that my passion in life is seeing people that are doing things purposeful and intentful and with love and just exchanging that energy. It's so much negative energy going around right now. Whenever I can get positive energy, positive vibes, when I see someone doing something great, I just want to highlight it and I want to be surrounded by it. So thank you for joining. Thank you for coming and telling us your story and giving us some of those uncomfortable questions. We appreciate all of that. So you guys make sure Brandon Wattz, like he said, BrandonWattz. I'll have all of his information in the podcast notes and on my YouTube and all of those tags and things like that. So make sure you follow, support any future projects. You might have your next wedding song coming up. You just never know. So Brandon Wattz, thanks.
Thank you so much for having me. Until next time.
Okay.